Welcome everybody to your podcast about French football, Le Foot. And today we will talk about this weekend's top games. Lens still top of the table, Monaco versus Lyon, as well as the Paris derby. We also will mention the red cards that keep on coming in this league of red cards. We will also address the Strasbourg situation. We will, as we are in January, talk a bit of transfer talk. And then we will talk about much more, as well as what's coming in the Cup the upcoming weekend. I'm so happy to have you here. Hello, Jeff and Dennis. How are you doing today?
Good. Doing well, thank you. We haven't met each other since before Christmas, so it's nice to be back and discuss some of the topics previously mentioned. I'm looking forward to it.
It's amazing. And another year of this beautiful football league that is Ligue.
Yeah, we're so excited.
Yeah, you had a good weekend, Dennis?
Yeah, had a good weekend.
Amazing.
It was quite calm.
Very good. Okay, on to the first game. We have Toulouse versus RC Lens, and we have 0-3 on the score sheet. But this game was super even, I feel, until the red card in the first half by Emerson.
Which is highly debatable.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's a red card, and it completely switches the momentum of the game. I mean, Toulouse were standing up very well, but that red card switched momentum and later on gave Lens the victory.
Yeah, 3-0 is hard to debate when you look at it like that. And you saw Toulouse really battling off, and I had a feeling this could end a draw. You could see Lens having some struggles with breaking down when Toulouse was defending low. It feels like Lens wanted to attack when Toulouse players were up high and on the move. But eventually 3-0 is 3-0, right? Mm-hmm. And you can't complain even about the Toulouse, I think, goalkeeper.
Yeah. Guillaume Restes, the goalkeeper of Toulouse, very good job. Although only being 10 men on the field for the most of the game. He did a very good job, and also being a very young player, only 20 years old.
It's very impressive.
Yeah, it's very impressive.
And the thing is, you can say trying to keep the score down because still 0-3, but it could be more.
Yeah.
Given that they play quite a long time, one player less, and yeah, I am super impressed. I need to circle back though to the red card because I think it's debatable, but I think we can still talk about the force that the tackle is happening. Emerson is coming in middle of the pitch. I think it's super stupid to go in with that force. And it seems like Edson Edouard also is injured now. Mm-hmm. And that's very unfortunate. You do forceful tackle. In a way, I can make it feel that it's still a red card. Injure a player in the middle of the field for no reason.
It is with full force, but it's not like he's coming with one foot with a full force. It's like he's coming with one foot and the other one is holding back. And that's the foot that actually hits Edouard. And with that said, I think it's debatable because it's a challenge, and that's what the sport is about. And I mean, this game and other games this round and Ligue or general, there's a lot of red cards. I mean, this for me would be an instance where you could draw the line and put up a yellow.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I would like to speak to the referee after the game to hear his thoughts because he seemed pretty sure when it happened. He pulled out the red card straight away, and Emerson looks a bit confused, but then I think somewhere deep inside he knows too much force, too much will in the middle of the pitch. Which
unnecessary.
Unnecessary, yeah.
Why do it?
Why do it? Why risk it? That's the thing. And speaking of injuries, also when they scored a third goal, Lens, then you have Sidebe in Toulouse going off injured with a suspected head injury. I have not seen any news yet about this exact status. He's talking and feeling okay, but it's difficult with head injuries. It's scary. Mm-hmm. You don't know when you will be back. You need to do some exercises and follow some procedures for it to be safe to play again. Yeah. Also, being a central defender, going off with a head injury, I mean, you need to head many balls in a game, corners, everything. You need to not play with any fear. So it will be, I hope for a quick recovery there.
Yeah, and they need it because, I mean, a team as of Toulouse and their chances this year, you might not score that many goals, but then you at least need to have a solid defense. And looking at this game, getting a red card, the first and the second goal, it's sloppy defense-wise. Sloppy.
Yes.
Too misjudgment within their own box. They give it over to Lens, and they're clinical. They score.
Yeah.
But if you're one man down, you can't do those kind of mistakes. It's not good enough.
I agree. It's hard enough as it is playing with one man less and then doing those mistakes. It's like giving goals away, and then you can. Yeah, but it's crazy also. They came into this game with great form. They had a great December, and now they are 0-3. But I think they're gonna bounce back. I think the chase for European football or the hunt for European football, that we'll see how that goes. But I think they're gonna have a good end of the season, because the start of this game, again, and we need to talk about Tauvin, right? After one of the goals, have you seen the celebration in front of Cresswell?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Is it some French English dilemma there, perhaps, or Cresswell has been a bit too much?
Yeah,
No
I
Sid
don't
during the
know.
game.
Maybe. You don't know. Said some naughty things.
Yeah,
Well picked English words. Exactly.
I would not be surprised.
No, but I like that. In football, I think it's okay when you do it. I think that's on the right side. Of course, when you conceded a goal, it's so frustrating as a supporter to see the other player taunting your player.
Yeah.
But I think in a way, it's like they can probably move on quite soon, I hope.
Yeah.
And
And I mean, all the adrenaline, I guess they're just aggravated in the moment.
exactly. Angry and yeah.
But they need to pick up. I mean, we're talking about the middle of the season now. There's 6-7 points up to qualification for conference, so they need to close that gap rather than falling behind.
That's right.
And I mean, losing against the leaders of the league as of now, Lens, beforehand, maybe, you wouldn't have said it's a bad game, but just how it falls out. You
Yes.
can't lose games like that over a season if you want to compete for the European Cup spots.
Yeah, no.
It's such disappointment as a teammate. You have your Brazilian teammate taking that stupid red card, and you're gonna be, I mean, furious.
Yeah.
Another thing, the head coach of Toulouse, he was biting his nails like anything. I've never seen a person biting their nails that much. He was biting one nail every second. It's crazy.
It was his 100th game of managing Toulouse also.
Okay, good
yeah.
celebration though. The game plan messed up. Monaco against Lyon, 1-3 on the score sheet. And another game shaped very much by a red card. I thought this was an even game too, up until Koulibaly doing... Is it the craziest tackle? I don't know, in many years.
It reminds me of de Jong versus Alonso. Was it in the World Cup semi-finals?
I think it was even in the final.
It was the finals.
Yeah.
Holland or Netherlands against Spain. Yeah, it was the final.
It's the worst one since then.
Yeah.
That's crazy, because this one is far up towards almost the throat, and it's such a kick. And I think Koulibaly doesn't want to injure anyone, but it becomes so violent, and it's dangerous. Dangerous play.
I don't know if he's looking somewhere else, because it is miscalculated, because he wasn't doing it for fun. I don't know how he could have missed them though, because they were coming against each other, but it's a crazy tackle. And also a bit boring, because the game was looking, it was a tight game, right?
Yes.
But when the red cards comes, I mean, later on Lyon scores another 2 and they win the game.
And that's the thing. And I think when you say it's a tight game, and also it already lacked some stars. I'm thinking about Endrick getting ready. I'm thinking about Pogba not being there. We have Minamino out on injury. I think it lacked...
Fati as well.
Ansu Fati as well. I think there is plenty players that you would like to see on that pitch. And then for it to be so shaped by that red card and become quite uneven. I also want to mention, there was Monaco scored, and the referee found a foul. And I completely disagree with that. I think let Monaco score there. Maybe, of course, it's always easy to say it would have been different. But I think it was very unfair. And I feel again that Monaco is on the short end of some luck stick, I think they are not really getting what they deserve. Of course, 3-1 is hard to speak about. And also, I mean, Lyon, we have to give them some credit. They go to an away game against a pretty tough opponent and scoring 3 goals.
Yes, and I must say here that I've been very impressed by Sulk so far for the entire season. He's been leading the Lyon attacking force in a great way. And I mean, he came into this year for Lyon from Victoria Pilsen. I mean, it's not a star. He gets the 10 on his sheet, and he scored 8 goals and 2 assists this season. And he did one very nice goal outside the box towards Monaco. So I'm very impressed.
It's impressive. When I see him and when I see the name and everything, I'm thinking this is not the person that should lead Lyon. Lyon has a history. They have a history of great strikers, right? You have Benzema times, you have Gomis, you also have Lacazette. And then you have this striker that I'm thinking, what about him? And like you say, I must give him his credit. He's scoring the goals. It's very impressive. The second goal is a distinct strike. I think it's really good. The Paris Derby, first one in the league for a very, very long time. And I think it's a bit of a difference here in quality going into the game. Of course, you have the best football club in the world versus the neighbors. And I think it's been quite hyped up, this game, given that the stadiums are, 44 meters apart, which is very unique, I think. It's just across the road. And we need, PSG wins. We can mention that. They are chasing Lens. They are not going to drop many points like you guys talked about last episode. But there's still some pickouts here. I think the Paris FC penalty is strange.
Yeah, it's a cheap penalty for sure. But they get compensated 2 minutes afterwards with a bounce it's a deflection. Dembele comes, significant attacking from his side, coming in from the left to the box. Deflection 2-1. But besides from that, I think Paris FC, even though they parked the bus, they did a good job holding up towards the last year's champions of the Liga and Champions League.
And everything. They had some new trophy this winter as well. But I agree. They hold up well. They defend well. They defend with a lot of players. And that's not easy, even for the best team in the world, to play against a low defense. I had the feeling, though, that PSG is going to break through. So when Doué scored his first goal, great strike, by the way, when you're alone with the goalkeeper, put it hard and put it high. I had a feeling they're going to win this some way. It's a bit, though, if Paris FC had a little bit more quality, I feel like they could have done something, because the score sheet is still just 2-1.
It is.
Could happen something. And there is some side stories as well we need to mention. We have Kevin Trapp in the goal in Paris FC, playing his old club. I wonder how that must have felt. If maybe it's like I'm heading into retirement now.
Yeah, I read some interview you had made before the game, and I think player-wise, it's only Marquinhos who's left, but then a few members of the staff in the dressing room. So he was excited to come back. I mean, he had great memories there.
Yeah,
winning the league and being the number one keeper there. So that must be really, really fun for him.
He's a good-looking fella, Kevin Trapp, as well, right?
Good-looking man. But you spoke a bit about Goebbels for Paris FC.
Yeah, I think the penalty, high quality. Yeah. And I'm a bit disappointed. I think if you're a striker in this type of game, a lot is expected of you, because all your teammates is defending the whole match. And it's a difficult situation. But I felt like they sometimes picked the wrong decisions. I sometimes feel like they were not, edgy enough when they were getting close. I think they lacked something. So he scored a goal, he scored a penalty, fantastic. But it still doesn't bring me that much joy to watch, because a derby is a derby. You want it to be an even history. You want it to be super tight. You want it to be a lot of emotions. And here I felt a bit like PSG were really the bigger brother.
Yeah, as you can expect. And we'll touch upon that a bit later. But also interesting, they'll play each other the same fixture at the Parc des Princes as well in a week's time in the Cup also. So they'll have the chance to rebound.
Well, let's see how that goes. Maybe some signings before that as well.
Who knows?
The red cards just keeps on coming in this beautiful League of Ligue 1. We have 5 red cards this weekend, and I mean, we need to discuss, why is that? Why is there so many red cards? We see some that are debatable, some that are crystal clear, but what's actually going on? What's your theory?
There's definitely a mix. As you said, there are some clear tackles. Koulibaly now for Monaco, for example. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a ban longer than the standard 3 games for that tackle.
I think it should be. Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, take the Marseille game. The second red is 2 yellow, which both are fair. So I would say it's a mix of both.
Yeah.
Hard to say.
They have VAR as well, so I would say I think that the referee level is quite good, and then it's like, what's the reason then? Is it the aggression level is high in the league, and that's something you want to watch as a supporter. You want there to be emotions, you want there to be a fight for every single duel, you want the ball to be chased down to every corner, but it's still remarkable. I think on Friday you get Emerson red, then you go into Saturday. You think that things might cool down, and things don't. You have the crazy red card by Koulibaly, and then Marseille, OM, as you say, they provide 2 in one game and lose against bottom team Nantes, which is a game that they must win. In the chase for European football and the top chase, they need to win that. I think last week we also discussed OM dropping points at home. We talked about Toulouse in the past. They dropped points with a 2-2 draw, and again we are here another week talking about drop points. They should be firing up points at home against these teams. Now Nantes, we'll talk a bit more about that later when we talk about the bottom teams. 3 points in a game, I think no one counted with 3 points. But I don't know. Let's see. The aggression level, something is happening, because 5 red cards, and you keep seeing this. I mean, even match week 16 before you had red cards, and Ligue is the most red cards in any top league in the world.
And then I don't know, I think it's a tough one, because I mean, you want the decisions of the referee to have consistency. There needs to be consistency in the decision. If a certain kind of tackle leads to a red card in one game, it should be the same reasons for that red card to be chosen in the game that comes the next week.
Yeah.
But then I also feel like if it's in the beginning of the game, as it is in Marseille, a little bit in Toulouse also, it might not be the clearest of all reds. Could you feel the game? Maybe, take it down a notch, give a yellow. Like, would that be something? Because some of these games, they do get ruined because of these cards also.
It definitely impacts the outcome. I agree. And if you look over a whole season, if you have red cards, a lot of red cards every weekend, you're going to have changes in the table. It's going to be impact. I have a feeling that Monaco would grab a point against Lyon without that red card from Koulibaly.
Yeah.
It was an even game, and I don't know about Lens-Toulouse or Toulouse-Lens there. It's difficult to say, but definitely has an impact. Early intervention from the referee, talk to the players, show some early yellow cards rather than the first red. I think that could be something.
Yeah.
And then also, I think the coaches of the teams and the players also talk with each other. I think Toulouse has like 6 or 7 red cards this season. I mean, you need to talk to the players beforehand. Chill down, They're making these tackles in the middle of the field. Sometimes it's not even close to conceding a goal. Why? Why do you do it?
I agree. I want to go to the training ground to see, are they eating barbed wire there when they are preparing for the game? That's a lot of red cards. It's a system issue somehow. And then you have a coach biting his nails like crazy. I think something is going on in Toulouse. We need to keep an eye on that. The Strasbourg situation.
Interesting.
Super interesting. Where do we start?
I mean, I think we start from the bottom. You have the Englishman Liam Rossenior coming into Strasbourg middle of the season last year, taking over from the well-known football player Patrick Vieira, brings them to Conference League with a good place last year. And now when Chelsea coach Maresca has left the club, he's the top candidate to take over Chelsea and perhaps leave Strasbourg now. And they've been doing a good season so far also.
Especially in Europa.
Yes.
Amazing performance there. Conference League.
Yes.
Really, really good. And who is planned to take over? What is the rumor?
So the rumor is Gary O'Neill. And for you who doesn't know him, he's the manager who got sacked from Wolverhampton this year with their probably worst season ever. I mean, they had terrible. They had their first win the other day against West Ham with the new coach. But why would you want to take a coach that lost like 15 out of 18 games from Wolves?
If you were a Strasbourg supporter, what would you feel? You have a successful manager, even though he's doesn't have the most experience, and then he's going to the other club, same owners, rumored to go, and then you're bringing in someone sacked by the worst team in Premier League history.
I think you gave me the answer. I think what most fans would think, and what I'm also thinking, is that they have the same owners, right? So what they're doing is a switch, and unfortunately Strasbourg is on the bad end of this switch.
And that's crazy because it's still a fantastic football club in a fantastic city with great history. And I think you have the same with the captain Emega, who is done to go to Chelsea. It must feel like you're being looted by a bigger club with the same owner. And I think this whole situation with dual ownership or multiple ownership of clubs, it's weird because it only serves the one on top of the pyramid, which is Chelsea in this case. And Blue Co does everything, I think, to maximize how the results are going for Chelsea. I think at some point...
Is he a good fit, though? I mean, will he manage to get the performances that Chelsea expect?
I doubt it.
Yeah.
I doubt it. Because we talk about experience here. I don't know. I think Chelsea would have been better off keeping their manager, even though they've been on a run with poor results lately. I think you have a more exciting manager in the coach that was sacked versus Rosenor, because Rosenor also, I think he should stay in Strasbourg's level clubs for a while, practice your craft of coaching, and then take the step when it's time. Now it feels like this solution is happening because of Blue Co. I think it's Blue Co.
If you would have been Rosenor, would you have taken the job?
I think this is a situation where you can't say no.
Exactly. Exactly.
You can't say no. It's impossible. You have a top club in the world in your home country. They're gonna be like, big salary. There's fantastic players at Chelsea, young squad that you can shape. It's a definite yes. I think it's impossible.
Even though he would be there for 6 months, a year, and he would fail, he would still get another job coaching a team at the similar level of Strasbourg. So I think he got a lot more to gain than to lose.
For sure.
So it'll be interesting. I think today, when we record this, Monday, he's supposed to fly to London to meet the owners and discuss a potential move to Chelsea. So this will be very interesting.
It's interesting. I wanna be like a fly on the wall there, listening to those conversations, because it's the same boss. You're managing Strasbourg, but the same owners as in Chelsea. So he's basically switching up, but it's still the same people that he needs to be responsible for. So I think the conversation is probably quite much smoother than another manager transfer. Because another manager transfer, you're changing club, city, but also the ownership and the requirements. Here I think they probably have talked quite a bit since he came.
They might have had him as on their short list, but then at the same time, I mean, yes, he's been doing good in Europa in the Conference League, but the last 5 games in Ligue, they got 3 losses and 2 draws. I mean, is that the manager you want to bring in? He does not have the experience. Is there no other candidates on Chelsea's shortlist?
It's crazy. I think it's almost like it's a lazy pick. You look inside your organization to promote someone. But again, and we're talking about promoting someone from one football club to another, which I think is fully wrong. I think Strasbourg should be managed as its own entity with its own interests. Now star players leaving, coaches leaving to go. It's mad. Wolves manager coming in again. I mean, I don't know what to say.
No. And we're seeing more and more of that. I mean, City have a similar situation.
Nice as well with Manchester United.
Exactly.
Radcliffe.
So we're seeing more and more of that. And I'm not sure I like where it's headed, because then you get these kind of, infections. I mean, I'm not like, let's say he goes to Chelsea now and Strasbourg gets O'Neill and they do completely shite. I mean, it's going to get so infected. Supporters might not go to the games for Strasbourg, they want to protest, etc. I don't like where it's going.
I agree. I think it's also... There should be possibilities to put some kind of framework and laws, or not laws, but rules and regulations, that if you own multiple clubs, which is possible today, a transfer should never be possible within. I think then a lot of people wouldn't want to own multiple clubs, because that's how they treat them, like a farming club where they can try talent out before they come to the biggest stage. But I think some regulation should come because we need to respect the supporters in all cities, in all places, watching the beautiful game of football. I would be devastated as a Strasbourg supporter, feeling like, it's a plunder, taking the talents.
We see that even in Sweden. I mean, not on the same level, obviously, but you have Hammarby, you have HTFF, for an example. And they are advancing in the lower leagues. I mean, they could be in Superettan soon, or, might not go to Allsvenskan, but we see it there also on a low level. Not the exact same thing, but...
Well, I think there the difference, and it's an important difference, is that they have the name, they have the... Even in the name, you can actually understand what is the purpose, is to play talents and young players. And I think it might also not be defendable, but I think with this example, you have two separate cities, two separate countries. You have a lot of people wanting their team to do well, but one is on the shorter end of this stick. And like you said, the switch. There's a good side for Chelsea. They can try things out. They can get stuff done. And then you have the poor side, which is the bad side, which is Strasbourg, which is... It's unfortunate.
But I think what's the difference there really is the money, right? Like when you have the big money vault full of cash as City and other teams, they can really, get the full benefit of this whole situation. And that's also what's unfortunate, they're not only able to buy the top players to provide in their first teams, but also to buy teams with lower quality in different leagues to benefit from that also. So I just think, the main point for me here is that I think it might just get worse over time. So what we're seeing now is just like the beginning of all this.
Horrible future if this is only the beginning, right?
Yeah. Greed is always bad.
Always bad with greed. Overall transfer talk to our beautiful league. And we have a fresh rumor, which is interesting. The Serbia could be heading back to the British Isles because there is some interest, I heard.
Who wants to take that job?
And also I'm thinking, are United in a place to sack coaches again? I think they should stick with someone. Look at Arsenal betting on Arteta and now it's doing great. I think sacking the Portuguese manager they have today, it's Amorim. I'm not sure if the Serbia is going to solve the issues they have over there. What do you think?
I'm not sure any coach feel comfortable or confident to go into United and save that club or bring that club forward.
OM also must have fantastic, huge, massive interest to keep their great manager, De Zerbi. Of course, results, I would say they've been mixed if you look at the table. I think they should have some more points. They should do a bit better. But we talked last week about motivating players and seeing players grow. You have Greenwood, Aubameyang for one. And I agree. I think De Zerbi, in a way, should be clever and not pick that move. Why pick that move out of all?
And then also, I mean, he's been there for a year or something, a year and a half. And before that, having a bit of turbulence. I think was going to was it Ukraine or Russia? He was in Ukraine or something.
Could be.
Yeah. And for the reasons there, he came to Marseille. So maybe he just wants to stick around in a place also,
I hope he sticks around. It's like we all agree that he's one of the most exciting coaches in the league. Great fit for OM. He should stay. We have a new signing already in place in Nice. It's a loan from Frankfurt with Wahi, scoring a great goal this weekend, bringing in the first point in a long time in Ligue. I think that's what you want to see. When you're a supporter, you bring in a signing, you bring in a striker, he brings goals straight away, from the bench even. Not many minutes on the pitch and he's scoring. You have Claude Puel, the new manager, also bringing home a point against a pretty tough opponent, Strasbourg. It's exactly what you want to see.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, as you said, Nice has had a very poor form recently. So getting a striker in there who can provide some goals, and for him also personally, I mean, getting into a new league, a new team, scoring in your first game, means a lot for him personally and the club going forward.
Moving from Frankfurt to Nice as well, pretty nice change of scenery when spring comes soon in Mediterranean.
Pun intended.
Yeah, it's great. And we have another one, also a set signing. It's been in the news for a while now. It happened around Christmas. We have Endrick early Christmas gift for the Lyon fans on loan from Real Madrid. The Brazilian, I mean, promising
19-year-old.
19-year-old.
Yes.
And he is promised to be he's a great talent, but we haven't seen enough of him in Europe to know what kind of player will he be on the bigger stages. Is Lyon a good fit?
Time will tell. I mean, no one knows. He comes with huge expectations from one of the, if not the best team in the world, like historical-wise, from Real Madrid. So big expectations. And then also new country here, new team. He's 19-year-old. I don't know what you guys did when you were 19, but I mean, it must be a lot going through his head. So it will be very interesting to see. I think he will pick up his first game now against Lille in the Cup. He didn't play against Monaco. So it will be very interesting to see what he can contribute with.
Bringing some more Brazilian flavor, and I am super excited to see him enter the pitch. I want him to start every game. But what expectations can you have on a 19-year-old wonder kid from Brazil coming into Lyon? Should the expectations be high?
I mean, talking statistics for him personally, I'm sure that, you know, when the loan spell is over and when we're getting close to summer, he wants to score some goals. He wants to contribute some assists. So I would say 8 to 10 points, and, you know, bringing some flair to the team. And I think most importantly, in that young age, he needs the minutes, right? There needs to be consistency, because you've seen that a lot. Young players, you know, getting hyped. Everybody expects them to perform really well, but then they don't get the play time, as he did not get now in Real. You know, he needs consistency. He needs to be good enough to play week in and week out, and then you need to contribute goals, assists, or, you know, being that team player who helps the other lads.
He needs to start. Even substitute is not enough. If you're a 19-year-old from Real Madrid, promised to be one of the great talents of the world, you need to start. 19-year-old. We see players at 17 in PSG doing fantastic. He's 19 now. It's time. I'm super excited.
Take Ansu Fati, for example. I mean, now he's playing for Monaco. He's done a couple of goals this season, so I think he's performed well. But I mean, rolling back the years, 3, 4, 5 years from when he played in Barcelona, I mean, some perhaps were saying he was the next Messi. That comes and goes, you know, you need to take it with a pinch of salt. But, I mean, he was doing very well, injured, and now he hasn't really gotten back there. So, you mean, easy to say, avoid an injury, you know, but he needs play time, because he could just be another one of those big promised talents who never makes it the full way.
For sure, for sure. Another transfer. We have Nantes bringing in some experience to help them in the struggle in the bottom of the league, and it's Rémi Cabella. And he won gold back in the days with Montpellier, with Giroud, forming a formidable couple up front, doing great things. But 35 years old, coming from Olympiacos, is it a signing that a struggling bottom team needs?
I mean, I would not get my hopes up if I was a Nantes fan, signing a 35-year-old. I mean, he has historically proven himself, but it's a wild card. I guess it's what they could do with, you know, what players are available, options, etc. But I would not get my hopes up too much.
Always tricky signing players when you're in the bottom of a table. Nobody wants to join a sinking ship. But him coming back from Greece to France, it will be exciting to follow if he can manage some points and bring Nantes higher up in the table, especially what's going on down at the bottom.
With the 3 points they had now, I mean, they're just 2 points up to Paris FC to get it above the relegation zone. So every game matters. And with some experience, that could definitely help in the tight games.
The most exciting rumor that we've heard so far is an old legend of the game, World Cup winner, former PSG player as well, tattooed, horse-loving, I've heard, Spaniard from Seville, Sergio Ramos, coming from Mexico. No club right now at the moment. He's rumored to come to Paris FC and booster up their defense. Exciting if this would happen. I would be super exciting. It's Sergio Ramos, one of the big names of the last 15 years of football, I think. 20 years even. He's a great player and great addition in terms of leadership. But again, I haven't followed the Mexican League a lot. And Monterrey, where he has played, I don't know how it's been. But having him back in European football, having him in Paris again, in Paris FC this time though, exciting. And again, there's another rumor that Sergio Ramos might become part owner of Sevilla down in Spain. So imagine that, Sergio Ramos playing in Paris FC, 39 years old, part owner of Sevilla.
Perhaps he got a lot of things on his plate, but I mean, where's the focus if you have a player rumored to a club which has not really been in line with, his historical performance, and then at the same time there's rumors of him becoming an owner of Sevilla. I mean, as a Paris FC fan, sure, I would be delighted to have some flair to the team and to the league, but still there, I'm not really, feeling how much he will contribute. Will he be fit? Will he be able to play all the games? Will he be injury prone? Exciting, but yeah.
Maybe not going to change everything in the bottom of the table, and they need that now. They're closing in. Additional small points we need to mention. We have struggling Auxerre and Sinayoko, our favorite in the podcast, doing great things for Mali in the AFCON.
Yes. I mean, I think we should start with the game against Tunisia the other day. They were heading into the 96th minute, being down 1-0. Gets a penalty. Sinayoko steps forward, scores.
Our guy.
Takes it to penalties, and then they win. And I mean, Mali, who would have expected them to, not only go through the group stages, but now also in the quarterfinals?
Quarterfinals. The thing here, though, Auxerre would need him back as soon as possible.
Yes.
Dropping points. Now they are below the qualification to be qualified to be still in the league. They are second to last. They need every single thing they can get at this moment. They need Sinayoko back, because out of all goals they've played on, scored on full time in Mali, I think Sinayoko has scored every single one.
Yeah, he scored all goals so far. And they're playing Senegal on the 9th of January. So I mean, if they lose that game, he'll probably be back for the next league game. But if they win, I mean, they could have him out for another game also. So
they can't count. He's on fire.
He's on fire.
And in that game, we also have pod favorite Mbai, 17-year-old. Speaking about 19-year-old Endrick, a 17-year-old actually doing right now successful things both for club and country. Fantastic. But we need to... Metz also pulling a point against Lorient this week changes things a bit, and not winning. Because now I think Auxerre really needs to be watchful and grab some points. And if they're going to stay up, they need to do something. They need to maybe pull in another signing this winter. I'm not sure exactly about the financial situation and if they have any players they can pull. But Sinayoko needs to come back. They need to be taking points now. Every single game is like a final if they're going to stay in the league. And Nantes taking that 2-0 versus OM, unexpected. Not something I think they are happy about.
No, a lot of interesting things there. And we discussed earlier in the episode about the red cards. I mean, these kind of themes, these teams in the lower table, I mean, they need to get their head straight into every game. They are constantly worse than the other top teams, because there are some top teams in the league doing very well. So they need to, get the 100% in there each and every game. No red cards, no unfortunate things. Get their players back from AFCON. It's a struggle, but it's tight down there. So it's really interesting. I mean, Nantes winning now. They're close to getting out of the regulation battle. So it's not like Wolves. I mean, they're not chopped off the league completely. So there's a lot to fight for, and we're only in the middle.
Even Metz can still play. They can still grab points and pull themselves up. And I think the teams above the relegation zone also needs to be mindful. Like you have Paris FC. They need Kebal back. Star player, must come. I heard some rumors he might be going to Sunderland, but I don't know if they should do that this winter, because that could be the difference between staying up. Even if they bring Sergio Ramos, I think they need every quality player they can keep. Next weekend we have the beautiful Coupe de France, and we have a few games that we look forward to the most. We have another Parisian derby. Very interesting. Same game, same place. In Parc des Princes, PSG will face off against Paris FC. How should the manager think? What should they do? What should they do? I guess Paris FC must do a lot of changes. They must have learned plenty by playing PSG in the first game. Or can they do anything with the quality difference?
No. PSG is gonna win, I think. I mean, bottom line, they're too good, and they are a team that could make some changes.
Totally.
They could bring a substitute in. They could make a difference. Paris FC, they don't have that much, and they played a very defensive game plan this game, which you would have expected, since there's a huge quality difference in between them. And I'm not sure what they can do tactical-wise to spice up the game plan going into the next game coming up. What can they do?
I think Kebal back would be an addition, but I agree that the quality difference is too high. It's very tricky for Paris FC that their next-door neighbor is PSG. I mean, it's the greatest team in the world, and we talk about it. It's also one interesting thing I find with these two clubs is that they are competing now in the top league, Ligue 1, but they are also competing about the talent pool that is Parisian football. You know, it's the city with the greatest football talents on the planet, producing talents of the talents of talents. One thing that I think is very interesting to follow is also who gets to pull the next Dembele or the next star player, because now they are operating in the same sphere. But I think this game, when you look at the Coupe, when you look at Ligue, PSG right now is too great of a team, no matter what they do. Another game interesting will be Lille versus Lyon. It's two teams that, they both want to win. They don't want to go out in the Coupe this early. They want to. I think the supporters, of course, see them going far, and this is the chance for a great title as well. Now that Lens and PSG is battling off in Ligue 1. It will be very interesting to see which one pulls the longest thread there and who can pull out a win. Especially, like you said, Endrick bringing some flair to Lyon. Starting off in a Coupe game would be fantastic, and contributing with some dribbles, some goals, some passes.
Yeah, it will be an interesting battle if Ethan and Mbappe will play also for Lille, to see if there would be any fights or who does the best performance between them two.
For sure. Another thing, I think, always when you have the Coupe, you look for some crazy results. See some top clubs going out versus some lower league clubs. But we will have to get back to that and many things more in the upcoming weeks, because there is plenty coming up with Champions League restarting after the New Year's period as well. And
Marseille versus Liverpool, very interesting.
Imagine that, OM, Liverpool,
Yeah.
What can happen? Can they disturb this Liverpool, which is completely out of shape?
Surely.
Missing Isaac as a striker as well, even though he hasn't been doing good at all. I think it will be very interesting, and PSG, of course, already qualified for the next rounds, but continuing the play. And then we have Strasbourg, Nice as well, playing European NOM. Super interesting. We want to thank everybody for listening this week. I'm so glad to have you all here, and follow us on all the social medias, and look forward to next week. Thank you all.